Your favorite show is back with another one. Today, we breaking down Tre Johnson. We got Ivory back in the building. We got Lito. We about to tell y'all why the Pelicans should or shouldn't draft Tre Johnson. Let's get
You
it.
must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fade what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome to another episode of In Space. I'm your host, Chris Connor. Lito is also your host, and we got the most popular man
Talk about it.
in right now in the podcast game, in the draft breakdown prospect coaching game. We got our
Ooh,
man Ivory here back. Please, man, if y'all haven't, go back and check out the show that will, by the time this is out, the show that we did on. His name is not Igor Denham. It is how you pronounce it, Ivory?
Yegor.
Yegor Denham, as well as Danny Wolf. So this will probably be out. It'll probably be Friday. So yeah, man, y'all go run back to the other shows if y'all have not. We got a bunch of more prospects to do, so don't even worry about it. Lito, you look like you got something to say. That's a look
me?
on your face.
I got something to say. Yeah. Man, how y'all? What's your favorite Big Sean lyric? You asked me, so I mean,
That's what you was thinking about right now?
I'm just saying, like you asked me a question. I'm sorry, you duck and smoke. Like, what's your favorite Big Sean lyric, bro?
You got like a yeah, you know what?
Going on, y'all? Listen, I've been healing from the BBL and height surgery. Remember, I told you I was trying to get taller. I'm now 6'8", but I got to drink this Sway Hydration drink for the next 3 months, or I'll get shorter. So that's what's been going on, man. Yeah, everything been good. I got in my faja, y'all see. No cap in faja. I got to wear this for the next 3-4 months, but it is what.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we gonna talk Tre
Wait,
Johnson.
you just not gonna answer about the Big Sean lyric though? Like you
No,
just
no, 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 I'm not. So before
wait,
we get
Ivory,
into
you
the
got a
game,
favorite Big Sean lyric? Damn, that's crazy. I could give y'all my favorite one.
no, no,
Damn,
no. So look, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man, in
messed
the
up,
comments
man.
and look forward to these. Man, these are probably my favorite kind of shows to do. I'm glad that y'all been a fan of Ivory. Ivory said somebody chased him down in traffic. Ivory, tell the story. Ivory breaking up.
My bad. I was lagging. What you said, Chris? Said it again.
I said, tell a story. Tell a story about the person that chased you down to tell you how good of a job you did on
Oh
the Danny
man,
Wolf
that
show
was
we
so
did.
crazy. Yeah, working with this guy 2 years, man, and always high and by. But yesterday, I'm like, man, hey, coach, hey, phenomenal job on the pod. I'm like, hey, bro, I do so much work in the community, so much work around the school. Well, I appreciate you. It was good to know that you big fan of the Propel Talk. So,
Hey,
get my
man,
heart
fuck
good.
those guys. Fuck those guys, man.
So a few notes here on Tre Johnson before I get you guys' initial thoughts. Tre led the entire SEC in scoring at Texas here with 19.9. We can round it up and say 20 points per game as a freshman from
Yeah.
Dallas. He was in the underclass All American game. He's been all all across the basketball world, any camp that you can really think of at this point. He is supposed to be an early lottery pick. Some have him going as high as 6, others have him going a little bit lower. Some of the comparisons that I see early on have been anywhere from Nick Young. I've seen a little bit of Cam Thomas. I saw someone compare him to Allen Houston. So
That's an interesting one.
Ivory, Ivory was one of the first people that mentioned to myself and Lito about the Pelicans. And I know Chaz and Five have talked about Tre Johnson as well previously, but Ivory was the first that I remember on the side that said the Pelicans need to draft this guy. Then he kind of shifted to Danny Wolf. But Ivory, tell me some of the things that you like when you watch Tre Johnson play before we get into the film.
And what I like about Tre Johnson is his ability to shoot the basketball. Um, he is an amazing shooter to me. He's probably the best shooter in this year's draft. He can catch and shoot at a really high level. He can shoot a movement at a real high level. And he can shoot it off of the bounce from three. And so I believe he's what what we all envision Jordan Hawkins to be. He is bigger than Jordan Hawkins. He's a little like 6'6". Tre Johnson is an absolute flamethrower from three. So I like that he can stretch the floor, and I can imagine him on the floor with Zion and Tre having just be a great floor spacer and really helping that offense.
Bro. Oh, you ain't know me? Oh, you muted. That's why I couldn't hear you.
I did not know I was muted. My bad. Yeah, I was asking. I've been told the whole time. I'm like what? Yeah. Lito, what are your early thoughts on Tre Johnson as we get into the film?
He a bucket getter, man. I seen a range of comparisons for his game. I don't know if I like any of them yet, to be honest. Like, I don't like the Nick Young one. I don't like. I forgot some of the names you said, but I've even seen Cam Thomas is probably close.
Okay.
As far as like play style, I've even seen. I seen a scout go so far as calling him Devin Booker.
Some other ones I'll give you here: Tyler Hero, Latrell Sprewell, Gilbert Arenas in a best case scenario.
That's tough. That's tough.
For me, I see a lot of Miami Ray and Tre Johnson.
Miami Ray Allen, okay. All right. Well, let's get into the film, man. Film don't lie. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Coach Mike Cyprian, man. He out there. We're gonna have him on the show and break down some film real soon here as well, man.
Oh, Chris, my bad. I was doing some other shit. I just made a logo for us. Boy. All right, my bad.
Okay.
No, I'm multitasking, bro. I'm sorry.
You working?
Yeah. That's what we do. Man, I'm trying to get Ivory on a podcast to get people he worked with to finally fucking talk to him. And are you crazy? As always,
the floor yours, bro.
As always, shout out to No Ceilings NBA. Please like, subscribe, fuck with No Ceilings because they fuck with us, man. A lot of your other favorite channels, they be trying to snipe your boy. You know what I'm saying? No Ceilings, they showing love, so we gonna let him back.
Facts.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way. Oh, okay. All right. As Chris said, 19-9, 42 from the field goal, 39 from three, which is really impressive for somebody so young. Oh, my bad. I didn't need to do that.
Definitely a bucket getter.
He a bucket getter, for sure.
Ivory, do you think he has some other things in his game that will translate? Or do you think he's just, he will probably top out as just a guy who's going to put the ball in the basket? Or there's some other things that come in his game that can maybe raise the thoughts about what his ceiling could turn into?
Yeah, I think he has a high feel for the game. He's a very underrated passer. I think later on in this video you're gonna see him drop some dimes. He some real high level reads off of the bounce, getting his teammates involved in the game. So I think that's another area that can really help raise his value on the floor on the offensive end.
You know what I like here, Lito, is that for a dude that's been known with his ability to shoot, he's doing a lot of things with the basketball. 3, 4, 5 dribbles. So for a dude that's going to more than likely, I mean, I guess depending on where he goes or how the
Oh,
offseason, oh boy, how the offseason goes, you know, you would anticipate him being early on in his career, a microwave, type of guy, a dude that's going to spend some time coming off the bench, maybe even leading a second unit. But like just like we were talking about with Danny Wolf, when you watch these prospects, you got to think about what's going to translate for them at the next level. He ain't gonna, he's not gonna isolate a side. Depending on the coach he goes to, they may not want him dribbling the ball this much. But if boy,
great pass.
not bad. Yeah. But a lot of things that we're watching him do for a dude that will probably be in a situation where they know he can score the bucket. Whoever drafts him should know that and should want him to do that. Well, if he's coming off your bench, you'll probably have the opportunity to do some of these things right away.
Yeah, man. I mean, 95% of these shots have been contested. I've seen probably 2 open, clean looks. I'm not saying he's necessarily putting himself in difficult situations, but he got 2-3 hands in his face. That's a clean one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I think that that's tough. That's tough. I tell you what, boy, he not shy at all. He gonna shoot that shit.
Yeah, man. Anytime you broke Kevin Durant's single game scoring record as a freshman, you in pretty elite company.
For real.
Y'all tell me, because here's gonna be the question. And the next guy that we end up breaking down, I mean, I think years from now, the discussion is going to be who's the better player, Tre Johnson or Jocko, right? Like these guys are probably going to be drafted around the same area, and teams are going to have to figure out the teams that are interested in guards or interested in wings. Who's the better player? Who has a better ceiling? Who do we want? And I mean, it's just interesting because I didn't really think about it until now. But when I'm watching him play at 19, I believe Jocko is also like 19, or I gotta look.
Yeah, he's fairly young. Probably still. I think he might be 19 now.
Yeah, but he was born in 06. I mean, his birthday is, goddamn, 06. Jesus. So yeah, he's 18. He'll be 19 at the end of May. But these two guys, I think, are very similar in some respects for what they had to do for their team. Maybe what you possibly see them growing into as their careers kind of transform. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about outside of the early parts of the draft, I think this guy and Jocko are going to be compared for a while. Maybe maybe both players are good, but I mean, if you guys had to make a decision right now, if you had to make a decision right now, who do you think is the better prospect? Who would you rather have?
Trey.
Okay.
Yeah, man. If you would ask me in a redraft situation 5 years from now, who was the best prospect from this class outside of Cooper Flag, I would probably say Tre Johnson.
Okay. Because Jocko now, I mean, Jocko isn't the shooter that Tre is right now. A little bit more of a, I would say of a creator, but they're similar size. They both, I believe, 6'6".
Yeah.
Both around a similar weight. I think Tre's a little bit probably closer to like 195-ish. Jocko's more 200 pounds, but this might be a decision that the Pelicans are going to have to make, and it's going to be interesting to see like which route they go. This guy here, this film that I'm watching, is somebody that I think can contribute wherever he goes right away if the team decides to let him do that. And here's where We got to have a discussion about Willie Green and the Pelicans because we've seen two offensive guys that have been drafted since Willie Green has been the head coach. And if he is retained, which we feel like he will be at least for another year, will he have the bandwidth? Will he have the ability to make mistakes for someone who isn't going to defend at a high level right away? Maybe isn't, it's going to have to put some, who's going to have to put some weight on. We might be having conversations at some point about, I don't think it will just be Brandon Boston, but who knows who the next player will be that will be stealing minutes away from said player. Are you guys concerned about that? Drafting a guy like this, at least early on his first year, I would say.
Not really. CJ, he's going to be in a contract year. Will the Pelicans extend him? Jordan Hawkins doesn't seem to have been panning out. And so you're going to need a shooting guard to really assume the mantle here pretty soon. Will Tre Johnson be that guy? I think, why not?
Lito, what about you?
I don't have
green factor into a pick like this.
It's a little different because it's a little different for me with both of those guys. You talked about one being Trey Murphy, obviously, and the other being Jordan Hawkins. Well, I would say coming into the NBA, this kid definitely has more of a handle than both of them and can create his own shot, which neither one of them could do year one. With players like Trey, Murphy, and Jordan, you got to kind of find a way to assimilate them into the offense. And I don't think Willie Green is offensively savvy enough to understand how shooters play, which leads me to a question I have for y'all. Do you view Trey as more of a shooter or just a bucket getter?
I mean, I think for when you're watching the film, you average 20 points pretty much, in the SEC as a freshman. You got to be more than just a shooter. And the film here is showing it. Like he's putting the ball off the dribble. You're seeing multi-layered combinations. You're seeing, left, right. You're seeing step backs. You're seeing like a variety of moves. You're seeing him score in transition. So you see him shoot stand still. You see him shooting on the move. Whether I've seen him shoot going left and going right. I mean, literally, this is literally what I just saw right now. One possession going left, one possession going right on the move. So mid range. So yeah. I mean, this dude appears to be more of a bucket getter than a shooter. Similar to when we break down Jaku, how he probably is more of a combo guard and has some ability to put the ball on the ground and play make, but he's not just, they're from some of the things that I've seen, they think that he will be a 3-level scorer. I think what's gonna make or break Trey is he appears to be a 2-level scorer. How will he, the next step in regards to that 3rd level, get into the cup? How will that continue to develop as time goes on?
That is one of the things that I've written down so far in my notes as far as cons of his game. I know we only however many minutes into this is a season breakdown, so I'm not obviously trying to shit on him. The only con I worry about him finishing at the rim in the NBA. He doesn't appear to have a quick first step. No, I'm not gonna say it's not quick. Let me rephrase that. It's not like an elite first step. He's not a crazy athlete. I don't know. I've seen him shoot some floaters, but I'm also just kind of not worried at the same time because this is difficult shot making, dog. Like I think that this is something for him that can translate.
I see a lot of Klay Thompson here. Like the way in which he scores. Like Klay Thompson also was a player didn't really have a lot of athletic bursts to get to the rim, but he was a master at attacking closeouts. Tre Johnson also, he posts up, especially smaller guards being 6'6". He really utilized that mid range and turnover over his shoulder and able to knock down that fadeaway at a pretty decent. So I see a lot of shades of Klay Thompson in his offensive game.
I like that.
I mean, he looks like he's gonna have a lot of fun in summer league. I tell you that much.
Oh, he gonna tear that bitch up. he gonna go crazy. I can see him
That's
having
crazy.
at least two, three 30-point games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, he like even there, right? That was a good job by him using his strength for someone that's that's 190. Like he's stronger. Like he looks like a strong 190. You have to be for some of these post looks that he's looking. I mean, but these like I mean, right here, man, the footwork off the pivot, the reverse pivots. That's someone that's put a lot of time and a lot of effort, as Ivory, you would know, into the craft, into his game. And there's certain dudes that maybe, I remember when we were watching, we broke down film of some upperclassmen last year, and perfect example, Antonio Reeves. And I was watching him, and Antonio was you could tell the work that he put in. You could tell the work that he put in outside of just his ability to shoot the ball. But Antonio was also 23 years old. Like at that point, it's like Tyler Show. It's like if you're gonna make it to the league, like I mean, I would hope at that age, yeah, you got to be developed. I would hope that you spent that college time, spent 4 or 5 years and putting in the work. Tre is 19, and we talk about 1 year and someone who looks very polished and under control with a lot of his moves, get into his spots.
The thing that looking at him play basketball, a lot of basketball now is perimeter oriented, running from spot to spot on the 3-point line, even fast breaks, just running to the 3-point line. When we was growing up, you had to have.
Okay, Grandpa.
Back in my day, nah, but for real, back when like you was growing up playing basketball before like it was so like pace and space, you got to your spots. There were spots on the floor you were comfortable with getting to. To me, he looked like that. It don't really matter where you push me out to, whatever level of the floor you push me out to, I have a particular spot in that area I feel comfortable at.
Ivory, let me ask you something. I forgot. I was watching somebody earlier, and I'm trying to think who was it? It was Michael Redd. And Michael Redd was talking about how everyone talks about at this level, they talk about bag work. But he says at the next level, the best scorers are spot getters. Like they may also have they may also have a bag, but scoring at a high level or even a moderate level at the next level is about your ability to get to your spots. Do you agree with that? And how important do you think that is, or that's going to be for someone with the ability to shoot the basketball right now, like a Tre Johnson?
Yeah, I think that's supremely important at the next level. How efficient can you be with energy? Less dribbles, less wasted movements. If you look at people who really excel at that, I mean, look at Kawhi Leonard's game. Real basic, real fundamental, no wasted movements. 1-2 dribble pull-ups. Kevin Durant, I mean, even though he has a little bit more wiggle than Kawhi, at the end of the day, it's a 1-2 dribble pull-up, gets elbow, short corners, get to his spots, raise up. So those guys are really efficient with their movements. They can expend more energy on defense or other areas instead of wasting all the energy with wasted movement on offense. It makes great value on the offensive side of the basket.
Hey, Ivory Kawhi truther now. Don't get Ivory started. Oh, Kawhi. There was some conversations happening in 2014-15 about another player in the NBA. I'm not gonna say his name, but Ivory was taking him over everybody.
Yeah. Kawhi, all-time great, man.
He is though.
Yeah.
We seeing some playmaking from Tre. And I mean, this is not something that I would think he would have in his bag as far as his just because he's such an explosive scorer. But he looks like he's a really willing passer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like to Chris's point, man, you kind of somebody so young to have that footwork. He put in 1,000 hours in the gym
Mm-hmm.
on it, and then the other part to me, I said this before the pod started. To be so young and to be so deadly, that was a great pass. Be so deadly from the 3-point line, so 39% at 18 years old.
He's a gym rat, man. He absolutely lives in the gym. Again, these passes, man, that's high level feel
That's
right there.
he's saying it. He's saying the floor, dog. I feel even more confident in. Oh my god, I feel even more confident now in my Tre Yaku take. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say it just yet because I was very disrespectful to Yako, but in all seriousness, I think it's gonna really come down to what you want. When we broke down Yegor Denham, we talked about what position will he play at the next level or maybe right away. And while for Tre, you're talking about a 2, right? Because he's not going to be, and especially starting out, like even in small lineups at 190, he ain't going to be playing, and he shouldn't be in many lineups. I would assume that has him at the 3. He's going to be a 2. He's also not a guy that, I mean, while we watching him create with the basketball here, he's not a point. He's not a, but with Yaku, probably, he's more of a combo guard. Can play a little bit of the 2. Can also play, some point in some stretches. And I mean, it's just about what you want. Like, what are you aiming to get right away? And for the Pelicans goals, their misses on some of these offensive players, their misses on their ability to turn these guys that they've drafted into offensive weapons, I think it's hurt them. But this guy, you ain't got to turn him into much. You just got to let him play the fucking game. Let him play his game. And that's what's, I think, going to be it. Jesus, that's what's going to be interesting. But I mean, what exactly do they want? I don't know if drafting a combo guard is going to fit them, but I also don't know what their plans are going forward. Don't know what the final determination is going to be on Zion. Like, what is going to be their path for the next 5 years? But if you draft this dude, you should know what you're getting. And the Pelicans need some damn certainty with whoever they pick.
There's no secrets to his game. There's no secrets to him. Like he is who he this person he is. He's gonna be in the NBA. Like there's not any underlying I guess discrepancies in my opinion with his game. Like, and to answer your question about Zion, like if you would think that you just want to put all the offensive talent you could around him, but what do I know?
Man, with his movement shooting ability, man, just his deadly 3-point shooting is such a valuable commodity in the NBA now. And I just think with a player like Zion that's going to command double teams, absolute defenses, man, he can just absolutely be dynamite with a player like Zion.
Hey, Chris, one more thing. You was talking about Willie Green. Yeah, you was talking about Willie Green and how Willie Green like could play defense on his
5
players. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Nah, so the thing you was talking about Willie Green and how he could potentially play defense on his players. The thing about Hawk is like, after going back and doing some research and he numbers wise, percentage wise, he was never that great a shooter in college.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you saw the big moments in the tournament, the championship game, but like it's a little different here already. Oh, good defense.
Yeah. I mean, because look, if maybe we're having a different discussion if Hawkins was able more consistently able to take advantage of some of the volume nights that he had. You know, I mean, in his rookie year, we would, you know, I mean, we will applaud him for not being afraid to shoot the ball. Like we knew no matter what, he was shooting it, and that gave us some nights of 5 for 19, 5, 5 for 20, like some bad, percentage nights. Just hoping that one day he would just get on fire and have crazy nights, and it just wasn't enough of them. So with guys like that, it's great that they have the confidence, but can you execute it as well? To your point though, Lito, that's where Tre, kind of separates himself, because we can at least say for his 1 year in college, like, yeah, this looks good on film. Yeah, we're watching some of these shots he's making. We're watching highlights, but the stats say, and at a pretty solid volume, he shot the ball at almost 40% in college.
Yeah,
wasn't the same for Hawkins.
No.
So but at the end of the day,
good defense.
Will I just gotta hope, or I have to be able to see with. I mean, you got a decent amount of guard, even with the health issues. If by the time they get to training camp, this is going to be a lot of different wings that are available for the Pelicans. How is he going to defend like this side of the floor? Mm-hmm. I've been watching a lot of Theo Pinson's podcast as of late, and it's just a good idea of being able to learn or to see from a role player's perspective. We see a lot of different podcasts, from stars or from guys that had all-star seasons, so on and so forth. But Theo has a lot of guys that play different, different roles throughout the league, maybe some journeymen, so on and so forth. And they always talk about like how no matter what position you are right away, the easiest way to get on the floor day one as a rookie is your ability to defend and compete on that side of the floor as well. Unless you're just playing for a bad team and talking about early on. The DeJounte Murray, I remember him talking about how he was frustrated early on about him not getting the minutes that he thought he was supposed to get. And Kawhi told him, look, go out there and make an all-NBA defensive team. Do that, succeed on that side of the floor, and the offensive opportunities will come. It just may not happen right away like you want. So, that's what I'm curious about Tre. I mean, at the next level, how will he defend? How much will can that weight hold up at that position? All different screens he has to go through. Some of the the larger presences he's going to be switched on to if he is playing, especially dealing with Willie Green and how defensive oriented he is. With some of the weapons and the options that he'll eventually have as the season progresses.
So I think that you, in the defensive framing we just saw, you saw a guy who has good feet defensively, did a lot of, seems to be pretty cerebral and understanding basic defense, and had the idea of read and react down. You saw anticipation on passes, in passing lanes, causing havoc, knowing when to double, and you saw Flash get back to his man in certain situations. You just saw a lot of trailing action, knowing how to navigate screens as a guard. I'm not telling you he about to be Herb Jones, but I think he could be a competent defender.
Ivory?
I think if he's a neutral defender, I think that is a win with his offensive upside. Just a neutral defender. I do have some concerns with his lateral quickness, keeping NBA type guys in front of him with that spacing. But I absolutely believe that he can be neutral, and his value on the court, with his offensive upside, would be valid.
And the difference is, I guess, with this team that I have to also keep in mind, regardless of who the coach is, the Pelicans are going to start the season with some starting caliber or some rotational players, either working their way back from injury or nowhere close to seeing the basketball floor. So if you combine that with an early lottery pick, whether it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like Tre should have some should have some early opportunity to play. It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. But I mean, I'll be honest, man. I mean, I don't know the ceiling, because of with him not having that next level to unlock from an athletic perspective. Um, but I see somebody that I think should be able to contribute. And I know he believes he's going to be able to contribute right away, and something that's needed for this team. So, I think if the Pelicans are at 8, for example, and Tre Johnson's available, you take him. I think if I gotta go back and see how the lottery, because there's certain slots that, with the Pelicans being, I think, at 4 right now, there's certain spots that they can't fall to in the lottery. I gotta check, but I think Tre should probably fall between that 6 to 8 selection, probably. But he's somebody that the Pelicans, he's an archetype that I think that they need and that they
Never had.
shouldn't look at. And if they have it, just don't work out, do it.
The closest y'all feel like offensively you probably got to him was well, what's my dog name from Baton Rouge, man? Played at LSU.
Marcus Thornton.
Marcus, yeah.
Yeah.
Second round pick.
Yeah.
Chris, I think
I'm sorry.
I think if he's there at 4, you strongly consider him. I don't have anybody but Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper above him on my draft board, on my big board rather.
Oh boy, it's some VJ Edgecombe fans that's not gonna want to hear that.
And you saw the tape.
I don't see it. No, I can't wait.
Ivory, before we close out this show and we move on to the next film breakdown that we got to prepare for, what do you think? What do you think about the fascination that specifically in the NBA, we'll just keep it basketball, NBA right now has on ceilings, to where it's like a lot of guys, like if Tre Johnson was a sophomore or a junior, we'd be talking about him being drafted in the same areas as a guy like Cam Thomas or some of these other guys, late first round, early second round, because of the age. But what's saving him right now more than likely is that he is 19. You know what I'm saying? But when I watch the film, it's not like, oh man, this guy could be. And even I told you, the comparisons, Nick Young is, you know what I mean? It's dudes that were drafted in the middle of the first round, post lottery type picks. What do you think about the fascination though? You got guys like that Tre Johnson, who produced very well for someone of his age, but he may not go as high as a VJ Edgecombe strictly because of the love and the fascination of what could be potential ceiling, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Man, when you draft one of those high ceiling guys and it actually pans out, then you become executive of the year. The notoriety, the fame, the alley, the status that comes with getting one of those high ceiling guys and it actually coming to fruition. Just think about like the GM who drafted Giannis and took a chance on Giannis and he became who he is. Like, of course, you're gonna get an extension. You're gonna look at his this fortune teller. Like, how were you able to tell that this kid was gonna be this? So I think for what it does for your career, it's worth the upside. Taking someone with a higher ceiling, I get it, but I mean, in actuality, when you look at some of the best players in the league, the SGAs, I mean, you don't look at it. And well, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure most people didn't consider him this super high ceiling guy. I mean, we have a bunch of cases like that with guys in the league who were, had average athleticism, but trying to be Nikola Jokic, So there's a ton of examples where those guys actually became some of the best players. So you never really know, but it's a gamble always going for the high ceiling guy because sometimes it just doesn't pan out. But if you do hit on it does wonders for your career.
Lito, you think if the Pelicans at 4, like Ivory said, they should strongly consider it. But if you're at 4, do you draft Tre Johnson? You.
Yeah.
Why?
I do. I mean, I could look up and down the roster and I just see a lack of a lot of things. But the main things is creation and shooting. And I mean, you can't win without those things in the NBA. Like somebody on your team, especially like coming off the bench, got to be able to get a bucket. And I know we look at Brandon Boston. It's not a shot at him, but he's still a young player. He's still got a long way to go in his NBA development, right? And hopefully he can be a guy you can rely on with that. But this kid, to me, like Ivory talked about movement shooting. You talked about 3-level scoring. Well, he got 2 levels right now, really. But I'm gonna be honest. I think he was just so good in college. I ain't think he probably felt like he didn't even need a 3rd level. Like I could get to my spots between the 3 and the 2. I'm posting up smaller guards anyway. He probably looking at that shit like it's a layup. I'm looking at, turn shoot over right shoulder, turn shoot over left shoulder. I've seen him. It was a Princeton cut. Instead of taking a layup, he took a dribble and he faded away. It was a 4-foot jumper, but it's like things like that's a very confident shot, bro. Because that's a hard the in between shit is such a hard shot because it's hard to gauge it, especially if you're in motion. So I believe in him. I do. I believe in him.
And and I'll say something else that needs to be talked about as well. You're talking about someone who led scored 20 points per game out the gate as a freshman in what people would widely consider the toughest conference in basketball, in NCAA, in college basketball, the SEC. So, I mean,
yep,
like that tells you about the mind as well. Like, you know what I mean? Some guys may take a little bit of time to kind of, process exactly what they need to do. He knew right away, was on fire and ready to go and ready to produce right away in the production match. Sure, there's some flaws, but to do it in that conference with that, with the film that we just watched is promising. And I'll be honest, man. I mean, the Pelicans need more players that they draft that everybody are confident about and saying, like, he's ready to go. He's going to be a good one. You can feel comfortable in that. They got to find a balance in between that safe and that risky pick. Sometimes they've been too safe. Other times they've kind of been more in the dream world in regards to what someone could be. Tre may be that type of balance that I think that this team needs. And I'm thinking about, I mean, we talking about what they should do if it is at 4, wherever it is. If Tre Johnson's on this team going for it, how does he complement certain guys? We know how he compliments Zion, but think about Trey Murphy. Think about a possession where fill in the blank in regards to point guard has the ball and he has Tre Johnson and Trey Murphy on either wing. You know what I mean? Like that should be fun. It's everything that we were hoping that you would get a chance to see more often with Jordan Hawkins, and it just necessarily hasn't panned out. Only panned out in flashes. So you guys get in the comments, man. Y'all tell us what y'all think the Pelicans should do, what you guys think about Tre Johnson, and also, as always, give us thoughts on who you want us to break down next. Me, Lito, Ivory. We're gonna get Grub up here. We're gonna get Cyprian up here. Justin will be here. 5, Chaz, Ross. Let's do as many breakdowns as possible to talk about, and specifically before the lottery next month. So, yeah, man. I mean, for Ivory, for myself, for Lito.
Before you go.
One more thing.
One more thing. Before you go, the talk on the internet been like a lot of like 100 men versus gorillas. Right? You've been seeing that?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You've been seeing it. So what you think about it?
Oh man, we ain't no freaks. We some family, man.
Can you take that off the screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you, man.
I was asking I wanted to see what you thought about the shirt. I'm sorry.
That reminds me. Look, look, y'all, if because this just happened to me. Like I was hurt just now, and if I had to call somebody, like Lito just put us in a podcast accident. But if you've been hurt, if you've been in an accident of any kind, be sure to call the good people at Scott Vicknair, man. If you're hurt,
Hurt?
504-500-1111. Lito probably did it. He probably was the aggressor. Typically, and there's nothing I can do right now, but Scott Vicknair, the people, if I called him right now, they'd have him in prison. So, man, for once again, for Ivory, for the good people at Buku Pro Pills, talk for Lito. Another episode in the book. Shout out to Tre Johnson. Off to the next one. I'll let y'all.
Yeah, yeah.